Space Ain't Boy Productions.
Featuring the Fear Meter.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fear Meter. I'm Space Ain't Boy, and in this series, we analyze some of our favorite scary moments in some of the most horrific video games of all time. Today, we're covering my personal favorite video game of all time, the 2005 classic, Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4 began development in 1999 and underwent one of the most lengthy processes of all time. This game took so long to develop that 4 versions of the game were actually scrapped before they came up with the one that we all know today. One of the versions actually strayed so far away from horror that it ended up becoming an independent game known as Devil May Cry. Yeah, not like this game would freaking dominate the hack and slash genre or anything.
Are you sure about that?
After Shinji Mikami took over directional duties, this man decided to revamp the franchise. He was just tired of the old system, feeling that it was a bit stale and starting to get boring. Feeling this way, he demanded that the camera system be reworked completely. So if things can get a bit more controversial for this game, he decided to just take out undead enemies completely. We're not dealing with zombies in this game no more. Instead, he came up with a completely new enemy called the Ganado, which are freaky dudes, and we're gonna talk about them later. So let me lay it out for you guys. No pre-rendered backgrounds, no fixed camera angles, no Umbrella Corporation, and no freaking zombies. At the time, you could see why this would be so controversial, because if you're a Resident Evil fan who grew up with the early installments of the game, you were probably pissed. They're taking out every single thing that you would love about the game franchise and just changing it. Taking out everything that made your game scary in the first place is definitely not the best idea, but were people just being paranoid? Is Resident Evil 4 a scary game? And that's what we're going to be asking today. Let's see where Resident Evil 4 lands on the Fear Meter. Okay, so you're probably wondering what I'm going to be considering a scary moment. And that's fair, because being scared of something can be somewhat subjective. Everyone has their own fears, right? So I did come up with this criteria that you see on screen. Now you could stop, pause it, and analyze what I'm going to be considering a scary moment, but just to sum it up in a few words, anytime I feel like the game is objectively trying to scare the player, I'm going to be considering a scary moment. That way we could be as objective as possible, right? So now that we know what I'm considering a scary moment, I'm going to be using a scale from 0 to 100 to determine how scary a moment may be. So if there's a scary moment in this game and I didn't get to it for some reason, just leave it in the comments below, because I could always end up doing Resident Evil 4 in a future video again. This is the first episode of the Fear Meter, so we're going to be experimenting with a lot of different ideas. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get to the fun stuff, let's get to the scares, and let's see where Resident Evil 4 ends up on the Fear Meter. We start off our journey with a memorable monologue from Leon.
Whole affair gone public. The United States government issued an indefinite suspension of business decree to Umbrella.
That's right, our protagonist is everybody's favorite rookie cop from Resident Evil 2, except this time, he ain't no rookie cop. He's a US government agent tasked with rescuing the president's daughter, Ashley Graham. So Ashley Graham has been kidnapped and taken to a remote rural region in Spain. I always just found it crazy how they just sent Leon on his own to rescue the president's daughter in a random ass area in Spain. But moving on.
Nice. Anyway, you know what this is all about. My assignment is to search for the president's missing daughter.
What? All by yourself?
Leon is escorted by the 2 friendliest policemen around, and unfortunately for them, they're not going to be around for long.
Forget your makeup or something?
I always enjoyed this opening scene because I feel like, 1, The Drive is just a perfect song that matches the environment of what we are getting ourselves into, and 2, I always just enjoyed Leon's nonchalant attitude about this whole situation. Eventually, we find ourselves walking up a dirt road leading to what seems to be a cabin. Leon enters this cabin and says screw knocking, I guess, because that's what we do here. We just don't knock on people's houses. I don't know. Leon kindly asks this local resident if he's seen the president's daughter, and this man responds with, "Get the f out of here," which it literally translates to "get the f out of here," and it's kind of hilarious in hindsight.
¿Qué carajo estás haciendo aquí? Lárgate, cabrón!
Sorry to have bothered you.
This man kindly tells Leon to get the f out of his house, and Leon obliges. Boom, axe. This man tries to decapitate Leon and fails to do it, And then we are met with our first Ganado, or I guess our first enemy of the game. I like this quick first-person scene of the Ganado slowly walking up to Leon. I always thought that was a nice little touch that I feel like nobody really talks about. So this is the first scary moment that we get in the video game, and I think it does a great job of introducing the Ganados. Right away, we see their intelligence being able to communicate and use weapons, which is something definitely different for the franchise. Enemies that could communicate and use weapons weren't really explored unless you really count Nemesis. We're not talking about that guy right now. What I enjoy about the Ganados being able to use weapons and communicate, it's every single enemy that has this threat. They use things like pitchforks, axes, sometimes even stun rods later on in the game, and I always thought this was a beautiful, terrifying touch. What's more terrifying than an army of Ganados wielding pitchforks and axe trying to kill you? It's scary shit, man. This first Ganado does a good job of introducing them as enemies, and it's a decently scary moment. I like the fact that the game just tosses you in, and Resident Evil games tend to do that with no tutorial, and I always think that adds to the fear. But in hindsight, it is just a dude with an axe, so I'm gonna have to give this a 55 on the fear meter. Nothing crazy yet, but don't worry, these scores are gonna get sometimes insane. After killing more Ganados and saving a doggo, we eventually find ourselves seeing this. Yeah, this lady with a freaking pitchfork in her head. And to me, this has to be considered a scary moment because it does an amazing job of building up atmospheric horror. To me, little things like this just do a great job of building up the Ganados as ruthless enemies. Also, if you do click on the lady with the pitchfork in her head, we get this funny little dialogue from Leon. And I think it's cool because, like, it's true, like, there's no sex discrimination here. And I find this creepy as all hell. I'm giving this a freaking 70% on the fear meter because to me, I love little things like this, and I want to know if you guys want me to count things like this on the fear meter or if we should just stick to the more major moments. But for now, I'm considering a scary moment because it's still early on in the game, and I think it does a good job of building up the Ganados. Finally, Hunnigan decides to send us the playing manual.
How you holding up?
Bad question, Hunnigan.
Sorry to hear that. I'm sending you a playing manual. Hope you find it useful.
What the f, Hunnigan? Talk about being a little late, you dumb. She decides to give us the playing manual after dealing with some of those freaks, man. Like, why couldn't you give it to me, like, when you seen me walking up? But whatever. As we make our way to the heart of the village, we're able to scope out the area a bit. And just seeing the way the Ganados interact, like there isn't a freaking dude in the middle just getting burnt to a crisp, is scary, man. Like, they're just watching this guy freaking burn, and they're just like, you know, farming the chickens, they're cooking the chickens. I think this shit is scary. I like the way that they're just going about their day. Like, if there isn't a man in the middle getting burnt at the stake there, like they're literally making fried human, and they're just, I gotta farm, I gotta do my farming stuff, gotta clean the cow poop, I gotta clean the cow poop. And to me, I love it. I love the building up. This is awesome. First, and also we get to see one of the cops like get killed, which honestly I always thought, like, how did they do that so fast? I don't know, it seemed like a little bit of a process, but whatever. Unfortunately for us though, getting noticed by any of these Ganados results in them trying to
Literally kill us.
So we decide to barricade ourselves in one of the houses here, and then this happens.
¡Por allí! ¡No dejes que se escape! Vayan por detrás.
Why are these people?
¡Bloqueale el paso!
What are they planning? Chainsaw. Shit.
¡Te voy a matar!
Son of a...
Dr. Salvador is easily one of the most scary enemies of all time, and he's honestly the face of the enemies of this game. I don't care. When you think of a Resident Evil 4 enemy, you think Dr. Salvador. He's literally straight out of any horror movie, and his ability to just tank ammo and walk forward towards you with a freaking chainsaw is scary shit, man. And he has one of the most iconic kills of all time, with literally decapitating Leon's head. Unless it's the Japanese version, which doesn't have the decapitation of Leon. But it's still a terrifying thing. I don't care. Dr. Salvador is freaking amazing. When you're literally being chased by an army of Ganados, you're in this house. You have to worry about the upstairs. You have to worry about the downstairs. You have to worry about the window, the door. There's so much to worry about here, and I freaking love it. Being upstairs and hearing the barricades downstairs break is freaking utterly terrifying. It's amazing. This is one of my favorite sequences of all time, and this is getting a whopping 92% on the fear meter. Don't tell me otherwise, because this shit is scary crap, man. And everyone has to agree that this is one of the most iconic scenes of all time. Also, bonus points for the dude in the middle burning, because that police officer didn't deserve all that. You know what's not so scary? Boulders, okay? Because that's what this game throws at you like 8 times, and I'm considering this a freaking scare because it's a sudden appearance. It's a jump scare, and I don't care, and I hate it. I hate these boulder scenes, and I think they get real cartoony, real quick, real corny, real not scary. I'm giving this a freaking 15% on the fear meter. It don't do it for me. I'm sorry. Eventually, we find ourselves exploring this creepy-ass dark house, and we find one of our favorite characters, Luis. After that, he asks us a very important question.
Little rough, don't you think? You're not like them?
No. You?
Okay, I have only one very important question. You got a smoke?
And then we are met with one of the most kindest men of all time, the Big Cheese. He introduces himself in a friendly manner. And then they inject Leon with the plaga in a creepy-ass way, in a creepy-ass fashion. I'm sorry, I don't like it. This is messed up. Why you doing my boy Leon like that? After that, we meet a stranger and navigate our way to what seems to be another giant house, which is actually Chief Mendez's house, the Big Cheese. Leon breaks in and enters another house because that's just his thing, I guess. After that, we are met with the Big Cheese again. After almost getting chokeslammed, we are speared by the Big Cheese.
You carry the same blood as us, it seems.
But Leon didn't learn his lesson, so he decides to get smacked up again by Chief Mendez. But this time, we were saved by a woman in a red dress. Very mysterious. I wonder who could it be? I have to consider this scene a jump scare because it's literally a jump scare, and I think these both do a good job of building up Chief Mendez. Him just sparing Leon in his house is like, yeah, bro, like you ain't even a threat to me. That's kind of scary. It's a solid scene, nothing overly utterly terrifying, but I think it does a good job of building up Chief Mendez as this dude. He is the Big Cheese. He don't give a damn, and I have to give this a 70% on the fear meter. And more boulders. I'm giving this a 10% because I'm getting tired of these boulders and I hate them. Eventually, we find a peaceful sighting, a man in a boat, and honestly, I could see myself going fishing here. It seems somewhat relaxing. Oh my goodness, that's a big-ass fish. I take back everything I just said. Get me out of here. But actually, this ain't no fish. This is a salamander, and his name is Del Lago. Unfortunately for us, we have to fight this big-ass salamander, Del Lago, because we have to cross the lake. From a gameplay perspective, I hate this fight. I hate everything about this fight. It's annoying. It's boring. You have to sit here and throw harpoons until this dude dies. It's honestly just like a filler moment, it feels like. I like Del Lago. He's a cool guy. But I don't like this fight. To me, this entire fight does a good job from a horror perspective as much as I hate it from a gameplay perspective. But this has creature feature written all over it, buddies. Having Del Lago eat one of these police officers just does a great job of building up the fight. I like that about it. I like when Leon gets knocked off the boat, he has to freaking swim his way back to the boat, and it's terrifying. I also like this end scene where Leon, once you defeat Del Lago, you have to chop the rope. That's just straight out of a movie, and it does really good in making you feel like, oh my goodness, I don't want this to be me. I don't want to be on that boat. I'm giving Del Lago a 70%. I think it's well deserved, and I know people don't like this fight, but just think about it from a horror perspective. It's real freaky. He's also getting extra points because if you shoot the lake before you fight him, he comes and devours you whole. Amazing stuff, man. Straight horror aspects. I love it. Creature feature. Put me in the movie. So after we're done defeating Del Lago, things get real rainy, real darky, and real spooky. Also, Leon's not having a good time. Moving forward, has this happen? I enjoy everything about this scene. The way that the Ganado fidgets towards you, he's all menacing and shit. I like it. It's real spooky. I like the way that the mutation looks. I think this scene is creepy as all hell because at first we're thinking, oh, it's just a regular Ganado, right? Nope. This adds an extra layer to the Ganados, making you wonder like, oh my goodness, can this happen to all the Ganados? I don't want to shoot their heads no more because this can happen. They just sprout like flowers and I hate it. I hate everything about them, but they're scary, man. This adds an extra layer to the basic enemies, making you feel like every single enemy could have this under them. Are you kidding me? It could be, I could be in a worse situation and it gets real worse because this is happening now. I think this does an amazing job of evoking stress on the players, making you worry about which Ganados might transform, which Ganados turns into these squid monsters straight out of Mario Sunshine. I don't know. This shit is scary, guys, and I have to give this a 74%. So after beating this weird water area, we are tasked with heading back to the church, but before that, we find ourselves with a giant issue. See what I did there? No pun intended. El Gigante, baby. El Gigante's freaking pissed, and he is just throwing a freaking temper tantrum like a giant baby. He kicks around the Ganados like if they're toys, and after El Gigante throws his temper tantrum, we are tasked with fighting the hideous beast. El Gigante is a very scary concept. He's giant, literally. But is he really not scary? To me, I don't find this fight that scary. I don't know. I always felt like there's something weird and cartoony about this fight. I like the area being in like a little pit, but come on, guys. This isn't that scary. It's a giant. And a dog even comes to help you later on in the fight. And if he can't deal with the dog, he ain't dealing with Leon and his guns. The best thing that this fight has going for it, in my personal opinion, from a horror perspective, is just the area. I think just like being in a freaking concealed small space with a giant is pretty scary. Having our protagonist fight giants is kind of, you know, it ain't doing it for me. It's not that scary. And I'm giving this guy a 64% on the fear meter. Don't hate me. It's just how I feel. Not that scary. Not that spooky. It's a big problem. It's a big guy. It's a big issue, but it ain't that scary. Eventually, we finally make it back to the church, and then the scariest scene of video game history happens.
Don't come!
Hey, take it easy.
No! Get away!
Calm down.
Oh, I need you to relax. If you want me to rescue your dumbass, you need to calm down. It's Ashley, and she's gonna make our lives a living nightmare. She's getting 100% on the fear meter. Just kidding. Unfortunately, though, she does make this game a bit more difficult, having to protect her and being a nuisance. Anyways, we finally make it to this cabin, and Luis and Leon are tasked with defending this cabin. Kind of just trying to survive the hordes of freaking Ganados that come in. And I'm gonna consider this moment a spooky moment because this is straight out of like a zombie movie, and I love it. Like, you're just in this freaking cabin and hordes of freaking Ganados are coming at you, and you're with Luis, and if you shoot him too many times, he shoots you, and he kills your ass, actually. In fact, that should be a scary moment in itself.
Adios, Leon.
The The cabin fight does kind of portray horror in a claustrophobic kind of way. You're stuck in this area and you have to deal with these herds of Ganados coming, and it gets like a lot of these dudes could pile up in there. I feel like having this claustrophobia type cabin fight is a decent scare. That being said, you do have a partner and it takes away from the scariness of it, and it's just really dealing with a bunch of Ganados at the end of the day. I'm gonna be giving this a 50% on the fear meter because it's just a trope where you're fending off a bunch of freaking enemies in a single area. We see it almost in every like Resident Evil game, especially nowadays. There's always one area where you're just fending off freaking enemies and zombies and Ganados, whatever the case may be. But 50%, nothing crazy, nothing really scary, but I do like the fact that it has a sense of claustrophobia where you're just like in this area and they're all coming and you're like, oh shit, man, this is way too many people in here, I'm tossing a grenade. And then Luis is like, yo dude, that shit hit me.
See that the president's equipped his daughter with ballistics.
Hey, you need to calm your horny ass down before I get Leon to beat the fuck out your ass, alright? Don't play with me with like.
So the next area has you pick your path. Going to the left allows you to fight the Bella sisters, and making your path to the right allows you to fight another El Gigante. Great, more El Gigantes. So I'm going to talk about the El Gigante fight real quick because I hate this fight and I think it's worse than the first fight. Honestly, I think this is not even scary in the slightest because you don't even have to kill this dude. You could just run away. I have to give this a low score of 35% on the fear meter just because we already seen El Gigante, and this time you don't even have to fight him. You could just run. And to me, there's nothing scary about this. Just run. And we have Ashley this time around, and she's just talking and shit, trying to help you out. Like, it's not scary, in my personal opinion. I do like the concept. I think they could have done this a lot better by making you have to kill the giant, because then that would have been scary because it's like a path, and I find it cool because he's breaking the giant wall barriers, and this scary concept, scary ideas, scary things that could happen, but it ain't a scary fight. I'm sorry. It sucks to be an El Gigante in this game. Now we're going to talk about the left side. If you decide to go to the left, you chose the freaking scary side because the Bella sisters are the image of freaking horror, man. Like, if you look in the dictionary, you're probably gonna see one of these ladies in there because this shit is scary, man. I love everything about the freaking Bella sisters. I love the sound effects. I like the music. I like the voices of them when they swing their chainsaw, and they're all like... I'm giving this an 85% on the fear meter because this is just scary, man, and I don't think anyone's gonna argue that these two chainsaw-wielding maniacs deserve a high score. I love them, and I hate them at the same time. So we find ourselves walking towards this creepy-ass farmhouse, and you could tell there's a boss fight because they're giving you ammo and the freaking merchants there, but let's talk about this fight because everything about this I love.
Hey, Ashley, go hide.
Yeah.
Hasta luego.
To me, the Chief Mendes fight is the best out of the big three, and I feel like a lot of people feel that way. So the location's in a farmhouse on fire. That's freaking terrifying. We have Chief Mendes with one of the most disgusting mutations where his literal upper body shoots up and he becomes like a centipede type monster. I'm assuming he's supposed to be like a centipede. This dude is disgusting looking. And if you've never seen him, you're lucky because you probably sleep better than the people who have seen him. Also, Chief Mendez is one of the few bosses in this game to have 2 stages. So if you damage him enough, his upper half kind of like falls over, like he snaps in half, he kind of decapitates himself, and then you have to deal with just the upper half of him where he's swinging around on like the rafters and shit. It's terrifying shit, man. This is scary. I like the differences between the both stages because they're so different from each other. You're having 2 completely different fights in my personal opinion. The first stage has Chief Mendez walk towards you extremely slow, and he's very slow and uses ranged attacks to get you. His second stage is the complete opposite. He's extremely fast, he's bouncing around, he's swinging around from rafter to rafter, and he's getting up in your grill, man. And I find that real cool. Let's be honest, Chief Mendez made us all shit our pants when we were kids playing this for the first time. And on our first playthrough, nobody knew his weakness was fire grenades, and he was hard to kill. I have to give Chief Mendez a 90% on the fear meter just because I think he deserves it. I think Chief Mendez is an amazing villain, and I honestly wish we would have seen more of him in this game, but they kind of do a little bit better with him in the remake. After we beat Chief Mendez, we are able to move forward past these big ass doors, and then we are literally chased out of the village into this new castle area. And me personally, the castle area is my favorite out of the main 3 areas in this game.
Okay.
Ready? Come on.
Yeah.
While the village has the most sense of realism, you honestly feel like, what happened to these people? But the castle's kind of like, you're honestly just thinking, is that a catapult? That's a big ass door. Are those guys cultists? Are they shooting fireballs at me? How the f did I end up here? That's honestly what you're thinking when you're in this area, because the castle is straight damn bizarre. After exploring some of this castle area that I love so much, we run into Luis again, and he has some terrible news for us.
I've got something for you guys. What? Oh, shit! I must have dropped it when I was running away from them.
Dropped what?
A drug that'll stop your convulsions. Look, I know you're carriers. You've been coughing up blood, right?
Yeah.
And you.
Yes.
Damn it! The eggs have hatched. We don't have much time.
You must be retarded.
I have to go back and get it.
Let me come with you.
No, you stay here with Leon. He is better with the ladies, I'm sure.
The eggs have hatched, and this dumbass freaking lost the only antidote that we need to suppress this virus that is growing in us, because Luis is stupid. Like, how do you lose the one, like, how do you lose that? You notice it now? Like, dude, just check your pockets. Like, I don't know, I feel like I would know. You know, it's like, I would know if I dropped that. After entering some more big-ass doors, we hear this. Laughter. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm scared. And then you see the character who's laughing, and then you're thinking, wow, that guy's really short.
Architecture. I have been honored with the prodigious power from the great Lord Sadler. I've been expecting you, my brethren.
No thanks, bro.
I honestly enjoy Salazar. I find his little man complex hilarious. I find his dialogue with Leon some of the best in this game because it's just so damn bizarre and funny. After we're done talking to this little guy, we move forward, and then we are forced to turn off this fire system blocking our paths. But the only way to do that is by pulling this lever. So we're just gonna squeeze on by past you, buddy. Oh shit, sorry, I'm so sorry. Relax. Okay, yeah, I know this jump scare is super telegraphed and like they make it so obvious, But I don't care. We all got scared at this on our first playthrough. The Ganado is a terrifying mofo. And this ain't no X-Man, even though he got Wolverine claws. He a real scary man. I remember watching my older brother fight this guy when I was a kid, and I was just literally shaking in my boots. Like, I'm scared of this man. Also, having his eyes stitched shut, I always wondered, like, what if this mofo could, like, see? Like, if he's able to see, it's clipped for all of us. I'm not gonna lie, it's done. If this guy could see, he's the final boss. He's the villain. Because he's already a nuisance without being able to see. He's a tank, and his only weakness is on his back. So imagine if he could see, like, you're not shooting him. But the only downside to the first battle, I would say, with the Ganado is unfortunately this big ass room. To me, there's too much space in here, and I just feel like it could have been so much better if they would have just made it a lot more small, so that way it's more scary. And I guess you could say they did that with the remake, and look how much more scary that fight is. So I'm giving the Ganado first fight an 81% on my fear meter, and I do like this fight, and I think the Ganado is a terrifying enemy. I like his sound design, and I think everything about him is scary, and I love the Garadore's aesthetically, and the Ganado aesthetically is one of my favorites in this series, and honestly could probably be top 3 for me. After dealing with the Ganado, we are hit with the most difficult room of all time, the water room. We all hate this room, but we all love this room low-key. Let's be honest, it's fun. It's difficult, but it's rewarding. Once we get past the water room, Ashley starts tweaking and does some dumb shit.
You alright?
I'm fine! Leave me alone!
Ashley, wait! Ashley!
What's going on?
Ashley, your dumbass must be retarded, though.
Ashley, you could have just avoided that so easily. Like, come on, all you had to do was, like, stop or move to the left or just not be dumb. We all always laugh at this scene because it's just so shocking how she ends up getting caught here.
We've jacked the line. We didn't want you telling everyone any unnecessary information.
Where's Ashley?
Ah, so she fell into one of our wonderful traps. We'll make sure we find her. Don't you worry about her. Oh yes, I let our miserable insects out for some exercise down in the sewer.
Thanks. That should keep me company, because boredom kills me.
I look forward to our next encounter in another life.
Salvador talks some shit to us, and we move forward, and we find ourselves in a nasty ass sewer full of big ass invisible bugs. Yeah, I'm talking Norvistadors, baby. Norvistador translates to unseen creature, but literally means no sighter, making sense because these guys' main ability is to camouflage themselves, and they're annoying. That being said, I do like this section of the game. I think this whole sewer area is kind of scary-esque. I think the Norvistadors popping up out of like literally every corner is scary. They're in the ceiling, they're in the cells, they're on the walls, they're in front of you sometimes, and you just gotta deal with them. They do a good job of captivating fear, especially if you have a phobia of bugs or anything that's like crawly. You're gonna hate these guys. And they have one of the best death animations for Leon when they literally shoot acid in front of his face and his face literally turns into a skull. Like, you literally see this guy's skull. I think they deserve an 84% on the fear meter because we all hate these dudes, and I think they just do a good job of captivating a sense of phobia, a sense of like, leave me alone. Like, why are you freaking on the wall? Once we're done with the sewer area, we find ourselves moving forward, and I just quickly want to talk about this puzzle that we do here. These photos always scared me as a kid, and I don't know, I feel like it deserves to be talked about. Something about these pictures just being on a wall and the way the puzzle is, and like, I feel like it's cool that you have to hit a certain number. Quickly wanted to talk about this section because I always got scared when I was a kid playing this. I don't know. Anyways, we move forward, and Salvador talks more shit, saying that he's 20 years old.
What a pleasant surprise. But I'm afraid it's Ashley we need. Not you, Mr. Kennedy.
If you don't need me, then get off my back, old man.
Did you say old man, Mr. Kennedy? It might come as a surprise, but I'm only 20 years old.
So you're just like all the others? A puppet of the parasites?
I'm calling this cat, man. This man is definitely 82, at least. After getting blown to bits by these RPG-wielding maniacs, which I always found funny is like the cultists with RPGs, because like out of all of the freaking enemies in the game, these guys last look like they're going to be wielding RPGs, but whatever, they have RPGs. We're somehow able to survive this, and then we find Salazar's quote-unquote garden.
Mr. Kennedy. Still alive, I see. So, do you like my garden?
See, you've managed to work in a little of your twisted taste here, too.
Sagacious as I am, even I get lost here sometimes.
I'm considering this maze as one giant scare because I feel like it's a scary concept. They have killer dogs in the freaking gated community, but unfortunately to me that this falls very short from doing a good job. I always hated this maze and I just felt like it was like a detour of like what we're really trying to do. Like it just felt annoying. Also, I felt like this would have been a great opportunity to utilize the Gyarados. Instead of using these dogs, you could have had the freaking Gyarados wandering around in this maze, and that would have been spooky because you're in a tight, small spaces. Like put 2 Gyarados down here and maybe some Ganados. That's how you would do this maze, man. I think they failed by using these dogs. Or they could have did the dogs and a Gyarados. I just think this would have been a perfect opportunity for the Gyarados because like having a maze, getting lost in it, and like having Gyarados pop up, I felt like that's how they could have done it. You're in a maze, you get lost, and you turn to your left and boom, Gyarados. That shit is scary. And that's how you do a maze. But unfortunately, these dogs are super telegraphed. Instead of having these cages here, like just take out the cages and maybe put the dogs like in the bushes or something and just have them pop up at you. But like having them in the cages is so telegraphed and I just don't like it. I'm giving Salazar's dirty garden a freaking 44% on the fear meter. It just sucks. I hate it. I'm not a fan. When I was a kid, I did find myself getting lost a lot in this maze, so you know what? I'm taking that 44 and I'm bumping it up to a 48. Bonus points, baby. Because I am a fair guy, and I don't want to hate too much on the maze, but I just felt like it could have did a lot better. Let me know if I'm the only person who got lost in this maze when I was a kid, because I kind of feel like I was. I do want to hear your guys' story with this game. Maybe there's something that freaking made you shit bricks as a kid that normally wouldn't scare someone else. I don't know, maybe you were scared of the cows or something. Let me know in the comments. Unfortunately for us, we're not able to relax too much because our next scary moment comes shortly after where we find ourselves in a giant quiet room and then boom, steel cage drops overhead. I'm talking straight WWE shit, man. Hell in the Cell with a Gyarados and Ganados with arrows. Yeah, this room is crazy, I'm not gonna lie. I felt like they threw everything at the wall here. They said you're gonna be and honestly, this shit still scares me because this Gyarados is like breathing distance from you. Like you could definitely tell that this man ate Cheetos for breakfast because he is right there. You're tasked with breaking these 2 locks on these doors and they're big ass locks, and your only options A, to try to fight the Gyarados with all the Ganados shooting arrows at you, or B, try to escape the cage and then fight the Gyarados. But man, regardless, this room was always crazy to me, and I like it. I think it's scary, and I think they did a good job of using shock factor. And you're in a cage with a Gyarados. That's how you do a Gyarados, man. I'm giving this room a 65% on the fear meter because, man, that Gyarados was way too close. We finally find Ashley, and before we're able to celebrate, Sadler has to ruin the party because he kills our boy Luis. R.I.P. to Luis, man. So tragic.
Now that I have the sample, you serve me no purpose.
Sadler!
My boy Salazar will make sure you follow the same fate.
Stay with me, Louis. I am a researcher, hired by Sadler. He found out what I was up to.
Don't talk.
Here. It should suppress growth of the parasite. The sample Sadler took it. You have to get it back.
Louis! Louis!
And it's very sad because he never got to freaking explore Ashley's ballistics, man. So after we're done saving Ashley from this herd of Ganados trying to kill her, we actually have to play as Ashley. Like, yeah, we're Ashley. Shit. Wait, hold up. We're Ashley? That sucks. We got no guns. We got no items. We got no herbs. And we're Ashley. This sucks. And it's actually kind of scary because you're like, man, yeah, I don't got nothing to defend myself besides these lanterns, dude. So the first Ashley section has you rotate these levers in order to move forward. But there's always going to be one cultist Ganado there. You have to throw these lanterns at them. And I find this fun, man. It kind of just makes you feel like, okay, like this is like some final girl shit. I feel like I was the final girl out of like a Jason movie. Also, I think this is awesome because what it does is it makes the Ganados scary again because you have no way of dealing with them. And honestly, they are scary, dude. They got tattoos on their head. But when you're playing as Leon, it's just they get so not scary. So this section does a good job of bringing you back down to here, and I love it for that. Also, Ashley's section has multiple puzzles, making you really feel like you're playing a Resident Evil game, and I personally enjoy it. I also feel like this slider puzzle is annoying and difficult. I always struggled with it as a kid. I remember literally being like doing this puzzle for 2 hours, and I was just so retarded. I couldn't figure it out. Yeah, I must have been retarded as a kid because this slider puzzle took me like 2 hours to freaking figure out. I hope I'm not the only person that struggled with this because I really was there for a minute. So after we get this serpent ornament, we trigger the knights, and it gets real scary real fast because these dudes are basically like one-hit kills for Ashley, and like you gotta run past them, and you're literally hearing their footsteps. And I think this does an amazing job of inducing fear. You do some QTEs and dodge the knight's slash, and then we meet up with Leon again. I have to give the Ashley section a solid 80% on the fear meter because it does everything from a horror standpoint amazing. It's dark, it's scary. Ashley is weak and helpless compared to Leon, who's just a freaking force of nature. So I like this area. I give it an 80%, and the only reason why it doesn't get higher because it's kind of short, and I wish we could have done a little bit more with it. Also, in the Japanese version, they get fixed camera angles, and it's bullshit, man, because I wanted those fixed camera angles. I want to try fixed camera angles on all versions of this game to have the fixed camera angles for the Ashley section, just to like pay tribute to what their roots came from, man. We started with fixed camera angles. Give us a little bit of it in this game, but we don't get that. So yeah, 80%. So anyways, fire-breathing dragons? Yeah, there's fire-breathing dragons after this section. I don't know anymore, man. This game gets real bizarre real quick. So we ventured deeper into the castle, and we're tasked with getting 2 grills, the Queen's Grill and the King's Grill. Okay, so let's talk about the King's Grill first. The King's Grill is in a room with knights. You go through this long hallway filled with knights, and you do some QTEs because everybody loves that. And the grill is just sitting on the table, and you grab the grill, and then boom, door closes, and then three armored knights come at you. This room always just made me more frustrated than anything. Like, it can convey fear if you're scared of knights again, but like we just dealt with it with Ashley, and now we got guns. If this was a most annoying room, I'd probably give the King's Grill room a freaking higher percentage, but I'm sorry, these knights are getting a 39 on the fear meter. They're not really that scary, it's just more difficult than anything. Let's talk about the Queen's Grill now. The Queen's Grill is a little bit easier to get, but it's a lot more corny because this little shit needs to be a little shit like, get out of here, bro. So then this man decides to make the ceiling drop straight out of freaking Indiana Jones style, and we're tasked with shooting these red little dots on the ceiling. Ooh, spooky, but like it's really easy and it kind of sucks. I hate these rooms. Shortly after this, it gets even more cartoony. We are literally in a section where somehow this giant-ass drill with these 2 cultist Ganados get driven towards Ashley, and we gotta shoot them. Freaking, I don't know how they fit this in here. This shit gets retarded. Like, I just don't know. I don't know. Like, they literally teleport this massive-ass drill in this hallway. I just don't know anymore. This game's getting bizarre, and I have to give this whole section a freaking rating, and it's getting a 15% ass. It sucks. Salazar, you suck, man. You're ruining it for me. So after we get both girls, we move forward and Ashley gets kidnapped again because that's kind of her thing in this game. Moving forward, we enter these 2 average sized doors and then holy moly doly, there's 2 Gyarados. That's too many, and this room is scary because of it. I'm telling you, double Gyarados section is always scary because 1, there's Ganados here, 2, there's 2 Gyarados, and it is not easy, man. What sucks about this is every time you're occupied with any type of enemy, you have to deal with the Gyarados, and if you're dealing with the Gyarados, the other Gyarados comes, and a lot of crap could go wrong in this room, and if you get wombo comboed by these dudes, you're pretty much dead. This is definitely my favorite Gyarados section, and I think it's pretty scary dealing with 2. I also want to talk about the second Gyarados because this dude looks cool, and I love the fact that he has his own set of armor. You know, little things like this is like, I like it. I enjoy it. I'm giving the double Gyarados room an 81% on the fear meter, definitely being the scariest Gyarados section in my personal opinion, since you have to deal with 2 of them, and Ganados, and there's bells. I think it's a scary room, guys. I thought this room was always scary, and having to deal with 2 Gyarados is not easy. So Salazar attempts to kill Leon with this trap door because of course he has a trap door, and Leon somehow survives this because Leon has the craziest plot armor of all time. This angers him, and he quote-unquote sends his right-hand man to deal with Leon.
You have 9 lives, but it doesn't matter now, Mr. Kennedy. I've sent my right hand to dispose of you.
Your right hand comes off?
Say whatever you please. Die, you worm!
So we move forward and we're back in a sewer type area, and then we get these crazy little shots, these first-person shots of the Verdugo heading towards us. And the only thing I could think of at the time was, damn, that boy fast as hell, and I do not want to fight him. This whole Verdugo boss battle I love because there's so many things that they do perfect here. So we turn on the power and then we are tasked with waiting for the elevator. But unfortunately for us, it gets freaky real fast. The Verdugo is not letting us wait peacefully because this man is up in our grill when we're waiting for this damn elevator. And it sucks because the only way to hurt him is through these nitroglycerin tanks, and I love it because like it makes it so much more scary. When you don't have this dude frozen, you're thinking to yourself, I gotta run. I always thought this environment was perfect for the Verdugo as well, I would like to mention that. And just the Verdugo himself is a terrifying creature. I think the Verdugo looks aesthetically scary. I think the fact that you only could hurt him with the nitroglycerin tanks adds to the fear because you're just literally running away from him when he is in his normal state. And to me, to not having to kill the Verdugo is even more cool because I feel like it just shows you that he's that strong that you have to feel like you need to run. And that, if you feel like you need to run, to me, that's scary. I think it was a great decision to make it that you don't have to kill the Verdugo, and I just like the fact that you have a choice here. And most of us chose to run, let's be honest. I'm giving the Verdugo a 91%. He's a menacing creature, and I think everything about this fight is almost perfect. Once we're done killing the Verdugo, we eventually find ourselves in the mines. We blow up this big ass rock, and then we enter a room with literal lava under it. Like, this room is just lava and then like gates on top of it somehow. I don't know how Leon's just not melting. I think this room has pros and cons to it. There's definitely some scary elements. I mean, obviously fighting 2 El Gigantes is just a scary concept. Okay, so let's talk about the cons first though about this room. 1, having this lever instantly kill one of the El Gigantes just takes me out of it. Why would you add this here? Who's not using that lever every single time? Like, there's no point in killing both of them if I could just use the lever. I mean, do you really need cash at this point in the game? Not really. And I feel like having this lever here just takes the challenge out of it. I just think they shouldn't have put this here. Also, again, I like the idea of fighting over a giant lava room, but come on, Leon should literally be melting here. It gets a little bit too unrealistic for me to like just get immersed and be scared. I can't get scared here. It's just doing too much now, you know what I'm saying? Now, there are some good things here, like the way they look. I think these El Gigantes look utterly terrifying. I remember being a kid and I would call them Undertaker and Kane because that's just the vibe I got. Like, I think they look amazing, and yeah, they're definitely scary looking. Also, as much as I hate being able to put them in the lava pit, this jump scare that happens if you get too close to them when they're burning in there, okay? I got freaking terrified of this when I was a kid, and it just freaks me out. Like, the way that they just grab Leon, and, like, they're like, you coming with me, boy? I thought that show was amazing, and I think it does a good job of catching you off guard when you least expect it. I'm gonna give this a 55% on the fear meter, and the reason why it's even that high is just because I think aesthetically they look terrifying, and I think they're the best El Gigantes in the game, in my personal opinion. I definitely like them more than the first two. I'm gonna be considering the next section as one whole, because there's a lot that happens here, and it's just too much to consider each small little mine section its own section as a scare factor, but I think the entire mine section should be considered as a scare factor. So the first section has you maneuver around these bear traps. You're in like a sand kind of pit, and then you climb up this ladder, and boom, bloody Dr. Salvador. This man is scary. I always loved this design on him because I felt like maybe this is the Dr. Salvador from the earlier segments. Like, it always made you think, but he is a bit taller, so it's probably not him. But I always thought that was a nice little touch, having this, like, there's so much lore with Dr. Salvador, and I wish he could have been like the super stalker enemy, but whatever. So actually, there's another Dr. Salvador, because of course there is. So there's two chainsaw-wielding maniacs in this section, and I think it does a good job of throwing you off guard, because I don't think we've seen two Dr. Salvadors to this moment yet. So great, two Dr. Salvadors. So we move forward, and then we have to do one of those dumbass freaking ceiling trap things again, where you have to shoot the red dots, but this time there's freaking Plaga on the ground, and I guess it's supposed to like catch you off guard, but it doesn't. I hate these traps. You know how I feel about these dumbass traps. Yeah, I always hate these damn traps. I don't know. To me, it's just so corny, and like, really, we're shooting red dots in the ceiling so a ceiling doesn't crush us. They could have done so much more, like do a puzzle there instead of just making it shoot red dots. Like a puzzle and it's slowly coming down on you. There's so much more you could do with that. I hate it though. So we move forward, we get in this minecart Donkey Kong style, and this shit is one crazy roller coaster. So we have to defend ourselves and try to survive the herd of Ganados jumping into the minecart by killing them, and guess what? More Dr. Salvadors. At this point, I'm thinking, man, I'm sick of these dudes, bro. Like, if you're gonna just utilize Dr. Salvador like he's a basic enemy, come on, man, you can't do that. This dude's supposed to be like a mini boss. So after surviving this minecart section, we see one of the dumbest QTEs of all time, because Leon somehow survived this jumps across this freaking like 80-mile gap here. I don't know how Leon survives this. Like, I'm just not questioning shit. I'm done questioning shit, alright? This shit was unrealistic, but it's okay, because it's a Resident Evil game. We're not here for realism. I'm giving this entire minecart section, the whole mine section, a freaking 40% on the fear meter. It just doesn't, like, they did too much with Dr. Salvador. Like, you made me not scared of him. At first, I was like, oh shit, bloody Dr. Salvador. And then I went downstairs and I was like, oh shit, downstairs Dr. Salvador. And then I went in the minecart and I was like, oh shit, double carted my Dr. Salvador. Minecart Dr. Salvador. It's too many Dr. Salvadors, bro. Like, you can't do that to me, man. Man, if you have too much of a good thing, it could be a bad thing. And that's what they did, man. They put too much chainsaws, and I can't handle that much chainsaws, man. So I don't know how we ended up here. Like, that last QTE was retarded, but this one's really retarded, because we're getting chased by a giant, I'm not kidding you, a giant Salazar statue, and this shit sucks. I hate this. I'm giving this the lowest ranking on the fear meter so far, a freaking 5%. I don't care, man. This needs to get on the list, and it's really hurting. It's really hurting the game, man. 5%. That shit ain't scary. This shit just sucks. I'll take more boulders over the giant Salazar statue, man. So running away from big giant statue Salazar has us meeting up with little Salazar, and he is just talking some shit.
Shall endow the girl with magnificent power. She will join us, become one of us.
This is no ritual. It's terrorism.
Isn't that a popular word these days? Not to worry. We've prepared a special ritual for you.
Salazar cries, and we gotta chase the little shit. We finally catch up with Salazar and Ashley, and he has unfortunately got rid of Ashley. He sends her away on an island with his quote-unquote men.
Ah, you just missed her. The ritual is over. She left with my men to an island.
What?
Then this dude decides to do his version of the fusion dance, and he gets eaten into a Plaga-esque flower booty hole, I guess. Him and the Verdugo fuse into this giant monster. Now, aesthetically, Salazar is a terrifying boss. I don't care what nobody says. As much as this fight is hated, I personally don't have much issues with this fight. I think this fight is scary. I think Salazar has some of the more scary death animations for Leon. Also, in terms of scenery, I think this giant cultist room matches Salazar perfectly, and I wouldn't have it any other way. This is the perfect area for Salazar to fight Leon in. I always thought that the dialogue with Salazar is actually pretty good here too, when he's talking to Leon mid-fight. To me, it adds to the scare.
I want you to suffer just like Ashley. You deserve it. Pull it back.
Salazar's animations are terrifying. Having that giant plant-like mouth try to bite you whole, I think is freaking terrifying. And the only way to hurt this little shit is by aiming for this eyeball on what I would assume to be the Verdugo's half of the fusion. Once you hurt it enough, it exposes Salazar's little nasty body, and then you could finally hurt the guy. And to me, he looks nasty, he looks scary, and I gotta give this whole fight a 78% on the fear meter. It's a solid scare in my opinion, and I think from a horror perspective, you could tell that they did a good job. Now from a gameplay perspective, I can see your argument if you're not too much of a fan of the one-hit kills that Salazar has, and it's kind of tedious, but I think it's a good fight. After we're done killing Salazar, we reunite with the bitch in the red dress. And then she does some more Rey Mysterio shit because that's Ada and that's what she does. Well, at least we don't have to deal with that shit talking from Salazar anymore.
I hate to break it out to you, but Salazar's dead.
Yes, it seems that way.
Sadler, why don't you give up and let Ashley go home?
Perhaps you are disillusioned with overconfidence. Just because you killed my small-time subordinate.
Sadler, you're small-time.
No. Writhe in my cage of torment, my friend.
Wow, what a dick. I don't know who's worse, Salazar or Sadler. Now we're here at the most controversial area of the entire game, the island. It's controversial because it definitely leans more towards the action, but at the same time, it has the scariest moments in my personal opinion. The contrast between the horror and the action here is just so weird. It goes from 0 to 100 a lot, and I just don't know how they were able to do that, because to me, this has the least scary moments, but it also has the scariest moments. After we move forward, we are met with our first glance of the island Ganados. And I hate these dudes, look-wise and combat-wise. Okay, so having my Ganados have bulletproof vests, gas mask, and using stun rods and RPGs to attack you, just kill it for me, bro. There's zero horror elements here, and I just don't like it, man. This shit is straight out of GoldenEye. Like, why do you got a stun rod? Why do you got a rocket launcher, man? Why do you have a riot shield? Just why? When an enemy needs to use an RPG to deal with you, it makes me feel way more invincible than having an enemy only need a pitchfork. I'm like, okay, this dude is confident in his abilities. I always felt like they were doing too much on the island with the island Ganados, and I hate these guys. So not only do we meet the island Ganados, we meet Mr. JJ here, and this dude sucks. The only thing that's scary about him is his deep-ass voice, because he sounds like a demon. I'm sorry, man. Miniguns and red berets don't belong in Resident Evil games. Keep them in Rambo movies. I'm giving this whole section a freaking sad 21% on the fear meter. As we continue to explore the island and look for Ashley, we find ourselves in the island headquarters, or what I would assume to be the island facility. I don't know. But once you enter, the music cuts and it gets creepy real quick. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at this scene. I like when we enter this area because we're back in Horror Town. We're getting spooky again. I enjoy the way everything looks all grimy and ran down in this area, really setting the mood, man. I also really enjoy this kitchen. It's real spooky. Oh my goodness, that's a crazy jump scare. Yeah, that shit is scary, bro. One of the best jump scares in the game because it's just so unexpected, bro. It has everything a jump scare needs. Unexpected, man is on fire, and it's expanding your curiosity because you're just thinking to yourself, how the hell did that guy get up in there? This shit made me poop my britches when I was a kid, and I'm gonna have to give this an 80% on the fear meter. Great jump scare. The only reason why it doesn't get a higher score is just because this dude dies instantly. Like, man, you could at least put up a little bit of a fight. Leon eventually finds live camera surveillance of the area, and he sees the Ganados being real dicks to Ashley. But unfortunately, he doesn't think their abuse is good enough.
Amateurs.
So we need to find these key cards first, and the first key card is in this lab. And right away, we are presented with the Regenerator. The infamous Regenerator is presented to you just laying down there. And at first, you're probably just thinking like, oh, maybe that dude's dead, or what the hell happened to that dude? I love how the developers just foreshadow the Regenerator laying there, because you're not really thinking that he's just gonna hop up the way he does. But we're gonna get to that. You do this puzzle and you find a Luis memo actually explaining the Regenerators, doing an amazing job of just showing you what these creatures are that you're about to deal with. So in this room, we finally find the key card that we were looking for, and it's on this dead guy just laying there. And then this happens. The scariest moment hands down in this game. I don't care how much times I play this game, I still get scared of the Regenerators to this day. Their colorless skin and their red beady eyes with their extremely sharp teeth is freaking traumatizing. You combo that with the soundtrack that will make your skin crawl, and heavy breathing of these horrific bastards sound like you can hear their breathing. Is a recipe for freaking success. This is how you do horror, and I love this. Everything about these creatures hits the mark perfectly. The way that they slowly walk towards the players, the way that the Regenerators move forward no matter what, like, is terrifying. You could chop off these dudes' legs and they will literally slug toward you. This is like, how do you come up with this shit? We all know these guys are the scariest creatures, and you guys were just waiting for me to talk about them. And it gets even worse, because once you kill the first one, you're traumatized, and you're thinking, okay, at least I got rid of that. I don't have to deal with that. And then boom! They're like, yeah, here's another one. And then you're like, okay, well, that's just mortifying. At least I don't have to deal with it. And boom! Here's another one. Not to mention, the only way to deal with these guys is with the thermal scope that you find in the freezer room. And that's on your third Regenerator. So you have to fight two of these guys without the freaking thermal scope. Or you could just run. But, you know, yeah, it's terrifying shit, man. And then once you kill the Regenerator in the freezer room, you're like, okay, we're done. And they're like, boom! Here's one more for the freaking... Just to freaking say F you to the player, because there's so many of these damn guys. And honestly, I love this decision to add all these damn freaking Regenerators here, because you're not expecting it, and you're just thinking like, this is a new enemy, and they're so terrifying, and you don't want to deal with them, and they're just tossing them at you like they're freaking regular Ganados, and I love it. I love it. And I have to do this, though I will give credit where credit is due, and I'm giving this section 100% on the fear meter.
100%.
I will always give credit where credit's due, and when I feel like I cannot improve anything about this, when I feel like there is no more room to elevate this and make it a bit more scary, I have to give this 100% of the fear meter. And I think you guys could agree with that, because who the hell is gonna argue and say these guys don't deserve 100%? So we finally make it back to Ashley, and of course it's never that easy. We need a key card before we're able to get to her. So we find this key card where the Iron Maiden is. It's literally on the Iron Maiden, so we have to kill the Iron Maiden. And this Iron Maiden dude is spooky too. I do think the Regenerators take the cake when it comes to which of the variations is scarier, due to their more simplistic design. I personally enjoy it more. Don't get me wrong though, the Iron Maiden is still terrifying, and I'm gonna give him a 92% on the fear meter. Anyways, Leon requests for backup.
This is Leon. Request backup. I repeat, request backup.
Up and we make our way back to Ashley, and she's super happy about it until Leon takes her dumpster diving. I didn't know we were going dumpster diving. Like, I want to go dumpster diving. Where's my invite? But unfortunately, this dumpster ain't just no regular dumpster. This is a dumpster with an Iron Maiden in it. And honestly, I enjoy how Ashley reacts to it because she's just like so like, she's like us, man. She's reacting to this shit normally, and Leon is not like us because he's just too cool about this shit. He's just too cool to be dealing with this. He's just so stone cold. And Ashley's like, what the hell are those things? Because that's what we were all thinking when we seen it.
What is this?
Come on, let's go.
What is that thing?
Honestly, having Ashley with you when you're dealing with the Iron Maidens is a lot more comforting, and you don't feel as scared. You're not alone anymore. I mean, you're still scared, but you're not as scared when you're alone fighting them when you have Ashley, and she's kind of like company. I do like this dumpster area too. I feel like it's a nice little spooky area, and I have to give the second Iron Maiden section a solid 81% on the fear meter. You know, they're tossing them more at you. You get more comfortable at this point, and having Ashley is a sense of comfort. We do some cannonball action, and then guess what? More regenerators. Not much to mention with these guys. These guys are just gonna get a solid 79 because we're just keep tossing them at us at this point. Then finally, Ashley decides to be useful for the first time in the entire game, and she starts bulldozing. Yeah, we're going bulldozing. So she drives the bulldozer, and we're tasked with defending the bulldozer, and she's tasked with driving the bulldozer. So we're doing some teamwork for the first time. And I think the section is stupid because there's literally a truck. There's literally a moment where this truck runs on us head on, and somehow, some way, this shit don't phase me or Ashley. And Ashley's like right up there. Like, she should have died, but you know, whatever. We find Sadler, and he's just standing there menacingly.
Them growing ever so strongly inside you.
Sadler!
He decides to spare Leon because of course he does. And then he takes control of Ashley and takes her away because of course he does. And that's just what Ashley does. Ashley likes to get taken away. That's her thing. We meet an old friend that we're supposed to know in Krauser, even though we never met this man yet. But, you know, it's Krauser, so he gets to slide because everyone likes Krauser. He's a cool guy.
Well, if it isn't the bitch in the red dress.
After playing knives with Krauser, we move forward, and then Sadler talks some shit.
Friend.
As a matter of fact, I did.
Wonderful. I wouldn't want my special guests on the island feeling unattended.
Guess I'm supposed to thank you, right?
Ah, I have an idea. Since you're here, why don't I introduce you to it? It should keep you busy.
Can't remember the name, huh? A senior moment, perhaps.
Enjoy the fun.
That's why I like Chief Mendez, because he didn't do any of this. Leon finds the tracker that he put on Ashley, and before he could feel bad about it, it says, F that dude, no time for feeling sad. This ugly mofo is known as the U3, and man, this dude is real ugly. A lot of people hate this fight, but honestly, I think it does an amazing job of inducing fear. I feel scared in this fight, bro. From the time limit that you have to reach each different section of that maze, I don't even know what you call that floating chamber. I always thought this was a great fight, man. And it is scary. Also, his attack animations are some of the more terrifying ones. When he literally grabs Leon's legs and slowly slides you towards him, it's like, oh my goodness, leave me alone. Also, let's talk about the way it looks. He is probably the ugliest creature in this game, hands down. Like it is definitely the ugliest creature in this game. Like, Sadler gives him a good run for his money when he mutates, but I don't know, bro. I think it takes the cake. And honestly, this boss fight is definitely hated for good reason because one, U3 is tanky as hell, and when he gets to his weakened state, he's literally a walking insta-kill. So this shit does suck when it comes to our gameplay, but when it comes for that scare factor, man, this guy does all the right things. It creates a sense of urgency when you have to try to reach this next chamber section while it is trying to kill you. The U3 is ruthless in this regard because he's a giant body blocking your paths, and you gotta like try to injure him so that he runs off, but like eventually like you're just fighting him because you escaped the chamber. So I do think the chamber is the more scary section of this fight, but even when you escape the chamber and you're fighting him on that rock platform, it's pretty scary. You can literally barricade yourself with the jail bars and it could just tear through that thing. I like little things like that, man. It really puts me into that oh my goodness what is happening vibe. I have to give the U3 an 88% on the fear meter, dude. He's one of the most random bosses of all time, and I like it. I like everything that this fight does. But you know who ain't really that scary? Krauser. Not so long after we're done fighting U3, they throw us in another boss fight because this game is like F the player. Krauser gives us a rundown on how to get past this section, and he tells us that we need to find 3 insignias.
What are you gonna do, Krauser?
There's one in the north, and the other in the east.
And let me guess, you got the last one.
It pretty much means you're on a tight leash.
Sounds like you thought this one out pretty well.
Also, I have to add Krauser's fight to the fear meter because I'm adding every single boss and mini boss into the fear meter because that's just not fair if I don't add him. I know the developers are probably not really trying to convey fear with this fight, but I have to add every boss. Honestly, this fight does some good stuff. I enjoy the music and the dialogue in this fight. Definitely the most action-packed fight, and I honestly enjoyed it. It's not scary at all, but it's fun. Like this fight definitely gets wacky. Like there's literally a point where Krauser's sending drones after you and you're just thinking to yourself, this shit is like straight out of Call of Duty, my dude. We're not even playing Resident Evil anymore. So when you fight Krauser, he comes in waves. He comes and goes. When he's there, you have to damage him enough, he'll hit you with a flashbang and he'll get out of there and you'll meet up with him again and you guys will kind of fight again. Eventually though, Krauser is forced to mutate and his mutation is badass. His arm is literally a wing with a knife on it. Like, if we're talking about the coolest freaking, you know, villains or moments, this guy gets 100%, but unfortunately this is the fear meter and I'm gonna have to give this fight a dirty 19% because there's nothing really scary about it besides his mutation, because that shit got some nasty body horror and that shit looked painful. I apologize to all the Krauser fans, but honestly, we all know he's more of a badass character than a scary character. Beating Krauser has Sadler talking some shit, and then he says some racist shit.
So, it seems you killed Krauser too. How shall I return my appreciation?
What are you talking about? I thought he was with you.
What are you talking about? Did you really think I'd trust an American? To tell you the truth, I was contemplating how to get rid of him. But thanks to you, that's no longer necessary.
You were just using him right from the start.
Oh, I must hand it to you. You've demonstrated quite a bit of promise by killing Krauser. When your assimilation with Las Plagas is complete, I'll have you serve as my guard.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to decline your generous offer. I have prior engagements.
Leon almost murders Ada and gets a well-deserved stab in the leg. Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. You might want to get that checked out, buddy. We find ourselves in a small prison, and opening this dumpster has this happen. Yeah, creepy as hell. They could have done a lot with this bag. Unfortunately, it's nothing. It's just a bag with a shaky body in it. And then eventually, if you move forward enough into the prison, you see this regenerator. This regenerator always scared the shit out of me because it's just like one regenerator. And, you know, they were gonna do, you can hear his breaths and stuff, but this whole area is just spooky. I wish they would have done more with this small little prison, man. They could have just expanded it, used more generators or something. It's real dark and spooky. I'm giving this section a 70% on the fear meter. We find Ashley in a tank and Sadler hits us with some anime shit, but luckily Ada saves our ass again.
Leon, now!
Ashley and Leon are tired of these gross-ass parasites, so they both get lasered and make some interesting sounds.
You okay?
What seems to be a wholesome moment for Ashley and Leon don't mean shit, because Leon got only one girl on his mind, and it's Ada. Leon saves Ada with some unrealistic knife precision, I don't know how, but also he kind of just drops her. That shit looked like it hurt. Sadler ain't having this happy ending, so he does his mutation, and this shit is disgusting. He has his whole body hosted up by his giant parasitic head, showing you what the true power of the parasite is.
American prevailing is a cliche that only happens in your Hollywood movies. Oh, Mr. Kennedy, you entertain me. To show my appreciation, I will help you awaken from your world of cliches.
Ada, stand back.
So the way to beat this final boss is by shooting the small little eyeballs on his limbs. Doing this can have him show his real weak spot, which is his head eyeball. The eyeball in his head. It's kind of fun to hit Sadler with some construction shit, like literally swinging the environment into him. I like it. This fight does have a lot of action elements, like Leon literally backflipping over anything Sadler would toss at him. To me, that's too much. To me, this area also doesn't really do it for me. I don't like fighting him on a dock. I just find it kind of corny. And I feel like at this point, they're not even trying to be scary anymore. And you kind of feel that with this fight. After damaging Sadler enough, Ada finally decides to help us and tosses us a red RPG because this is a Resident Evil game and there's always a rocket launcher. After we get the rocket launcher, we're finally able to put Sadler to rest. To me, this is the least scary fight out of the major 3 bosses you fight. I always found it interesting how I felt like each major boss just gets worse and worse, with Chief Mendez being the best one. That being said, I'm gonna have to give the Sadler fight a 69% on the fear meter. I just don't feel scared of this fight, although I do think he has a horrific transformation. That's where most of his points are gonna be from. So even though we beat Sadler, there's no time to celebrate, of course, because Leon never gets a good day. Ada ruins this.
Sorry, Leon. Hand it over.
Ada, you do know what this is.
And then she literally starts to nuke the island that Ada is on. And somehow Leon is into this shit. He finds this cute. I will never understand this relationship.
Gotta go. If I were you, I'd get off this island too.
She really pushed it.
Here, catch. Better get a move on. See you around.
Very cute.
So we need to escape the island now, and we're able to do that via jet ski. After safely getting off the island, Leon passes on Cheeks because this man is stupid. How are you gonna pass up on a fine thing like Ashley, brother? Like, I get it, but you ain't getting them Ada cheeks, and Ashley's offering.
How about we do some, overtime?
Sorry.
Somehow I knew you'd say that, but it doesn't hurt to ask, you know?
Resident Evil 4 is my favorite video game of all time, and I'm extremely happy that I was able to cover it for the first episode of the Fear Meter. So let's see what the final score for Resident Evil 4 is. Let's see how scary this game truly is.
Resident Evil has a total of 36 scares. The final score for Resident Evil 4 is 62%. Let's get to the awards.
The first award is for the best scare of the game, the King of Screams, and that's going to the first regenerator that we run into because this is terrifying and there's no room for improvement. The next award is the Crybaby Award, and that's going to the Salazar statue because this shit ain't scary at all, man, and this takes you really out of it. The last award is the Heart Award. It's just my personal favorite scare, and that's going to Chief Mendez because I always felt like he was an underrated boss and I just wish we would have seen more of this man. What an amazing boss fight, and I love everything about this personally, and to me, underrated fight, underrated character. So that was Resident Evil 4, and this is the first Fear Meter on the channel. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, make sure you drop a like because it truly does help me out as a small YouTube creator who's doing everything by myself. I want you guys to have a say on my channel and be able to actually contribute to what's going to be the next Fear Meter. We have Puppet Combos Nun Massacre versus Bioshock. I'll see you guys in the next one, and as always, God bless.